welcome. Welcome to this breath, to this moment. Um, I have a pause here because usually I start with the sound of the bell and then I start the recording. And I was so flustered that I didn't even invite the bell to invite myself to arrive in the space. So unlike any other any other of my recordings, I'm going to start with the sound of the bell because just as a way to model when we're bringing awareness of the four chairs to our inner world, the first step is just to come back to your breath, come back to this moment, come back to what is going on in your body right now. So I'm going to model that by doing something I never do in a YouTube video. Listening to the sound of the bell, I bring my awareness to my chest, the sensation in my chest. Awareness of my thoughts, my flustered emotions. And then I'll go through the process of the internal four chairs by just modeling it with myself right now. So making this about me and not about Apple or my computer restarting in the middle of the night. So the stimulus, and it's hard to say the stimulus concisely when you're still a little bit triggered, and I am still a little bit triggered. Okay, so right now, in this moment, I am welcoming my breath and really trying to make the stimulus concise. So if I say it, it's going to miss so much more than what actually happened inside my body. And I'm just going to say it. I got onto this call 5 minutes before. And because of my computer updating in the middle of the night, it took me 9 minutes to arrive to this moment and my wanting to start this YouTube video 5 minutes ago, 4 minutes ago, something. No, holy cow. Now I'm looking at it. It's actually took 15 minutes to get to this moment that we're in right now. Can you see the shock and outrage on my face? So that's an example of internally of what the fuck? Internally, I'm not saying that out loud. I am saying it to you because I want you to know what's going on internally. And this is what it looks like internally. Like, really? Does it really have to take that long? And it may be shocking to my system that it took, here it is, now it's been 15 minutes since I did something that normally takes 2 minutes maybe. So okay, so that's the observation. So internally, in the first chair, I've already shared, I've said, what the fuck did it take so long? And then I'm going to Apple and I'm going to really? Could you give us more warning? Maybe they did give us more warning. but I am in the very much the blame phase, blaming technology. Here I'm a 70-year-old woman railing against technology. Does that seem familiar to you? Sorry if you're younger than me and this is like, oh God, please, not my mother again. And it's an example of my internal world in the moment. Like, am I able to handle the technology of this brave new world that it takes me that long to recover from a computer update? But you can see, I don't know if you're tracking this, but I just went from blaming Apple to blaming myself. Did you even notice that? I noticed it because I'm used to doing this, that I went to blaming myself. I'm 70 years old and young people can do it and I can't. And how can I survive in this age of new technology? So a lot of us, when we're in these emotional states, we'll go through that very, very quickly. I saw my partner going through that really, really, like, it took him a long time. It took them a long time to get to the point that that they could even hear me, because they were going from the intensity of blaming me when they heard something different than I said. So this is an example of that, how I internally was going back and forth between her, damn these, blah, 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 and then like, oh, I am of the age I can't do stuff like this. So the next step in this process, technically I have 2 more minutes because I started so late. I'm giving myself a break. Like, oh, honey, you really wanted to like be efficient and be able to get this done within a certain amount of time. When in actuality, I came here late. I started the recording late. I kind of have enough time. So there's this like, oh, honey, it's okay. So I'm giving myself compassion internally. That's technically the 3rd chair in NVC. Taking a breath and giving yourself a break and saying, in the overall scheme of the universe, there's no blood. That's a quote from Ravo. And what it means is no one died here. Get a grip. It's okay. You're just hurting. And you have the ability to hurt. You have the ability to feel an emotion. We all do this 100 times a day, but rarely do we move from that like blame others, blame ourselves, blame others, blame ourselves. That go to it's like rapid speed. Or in my partner's sense, they never got out of blaming me until I could look at them in the eye and say, you heard something different than I said. Honey, you heard something different than I said. And it took a while to get into their nervous system. And we do this a lot, and this is a human thing, and I think it's getting more heightened than what I saw when I was in Cuba and what I see when I see people feed a huge amount of news to themselves. This heightened, like this is, if you can see me, this like going back and forth between blaming somebody else and blaming yourself. So just right now in my ability to observe, like, oh yes, this is this pattern, and I see it in people I love. That's loving kindness meditation. We offer it to people. Oh yeah, people I love go through the same thing. And it's heightened based on how much news they feed themselves. And which is just one example. There's other reasons that it might be heightened. A loss, intense loss, can cause that as well. Or being really scared, or being with loved ones that are really scared. We really need to come back to ourselves and what's our inner world and what's going on internally. So can you see that? Can you feel that? Can you think of an example in your own world? So if I just naturally made that transition, when I gave compassion for myself, like, oh, Barbara, of course you want to be efficient. You want to be seen as tech savvy. I mean, I don't know. I could think of better things to be seen as. Like, I think I'd like to be seen as a nice person. Tech savvy is like, really? Is that the best you can do? To hope people see you as tech savvy? Yeah, and it's okay. It's okay to want to be efficient, to care for the people that show up, to make good use of your time. And in the overall scheme of things, when I'm defining, when I say there's no blood, there, I am still alive. My Some of my loved ones are still alive. Um, I know some people in Cuba that have power today, like emotionally, and they will probably be able to cook their food later on. If not, they've got a barbecue, right? No one that I know and love in my immediate world has died or is bleeding. So it's a matter of, that's an expression, and I have defined that because somebody asked me in the YouTube video one time, what do you mean by there's no blood? Right now, I can see my pattern, which is a very human pattern, of like blame somebody else and then blame yourself. And it gets like lightning speed is doing that. And then, like, when you can see that, you naturally go to, oh, honey, or whatever words you use for self compassion. And then you go to, yeah, this is, this is a common experience in the world nowadays. It's getting heightened. We seem to be going through it very, very quickly. I seem to be able to go through my internal awareness of that blame in, blame out, compassion for myself. And you could see I naturally went to compassion for other people. Compassion for other people that are going through the exact same thing. People that are in Cuba are struggling. And can I bring my own awareness to that? Can I bring my own de-escalation training to that and be able to listen when I'm going through my own meltdowns? And how quickly can I recover can be an example of how quickly I can be there for somebody else. So I have gone 5 minutes over, and I'm going to say thank you for listening. This is an example of the 4 chairs internally that I had a request for in the larger NVC community. Thank you very much for hanging in there with me.